because I love maps, and I'm going to show you some of these maps that I came up with and examine them together with you. This is the Sahara Desert now. Looks pretty green, doesn't it? So, you know, when you see this picture of the Sahara Desert, you kind of forget that they do have some existing lakes. The Atlas Mountains still exist. I think this is a little bit exaggerated. I think that if you look at Google Maps, you won't see any green. But first, let's have some reference points to help us navigate these ancient maps. For example, the longitude and latitude, which are really not shown on the old maps, are still useful to us, especially the 21 degrees above the equator, 21.1. Sometimes it changes to just 21, 0. And 11 is how far west it is of the Greenwich prime meridian. But let's remember that the prime meridian didn't exactly exist until 1884. Today's prime meridian is also not really helpful for ancient maps, but unlike the equator, which is determined by the axis of rotation, and the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, the prime meridian is ultimately arbitrary, and it's based on human factors that are more than just geographical. Also, the Tropic of Cancer goes through Mauritania. I'll show you in a minute. But the Tropic of Cancer was used on maps 2,000 years ago due to the position of the sun and can be seen on a lot of the maps I'm going to show you. You can see here, and just for reference, Western Sahara kind of looks like a toucan, and the Tropic of Cancer goes right through the belly of the toucan. It creates like a little dog shape above it in Mauritania. By the way, I think Morocco looks like a porpoise. And Maghreb, the ancient civilization. Take a look at some of these words here. We've got Maghreb. That's the combination of Mauritania, Western Sahara, Morocco, Algeria, and Libya. Also, there's words like Berber and Barbary. And we see a lot of these different words on some of these ancient maps. Also, some of the regions like Adrar. That's a big region right there. These are the departments, so you don't really see those broken down much. And a lot of these modern day regions you don't see either, but I think it's important to understand about the Adrar region, the mountains associated with it. The capital of Mauritania is Nouakchott, and it's really the only city that pops up here in this map. You can see these small cities here, but Mauritania, there we are. Yeah, we see a string of cities here leading up to the Eye of the Sahara, and then we see the Senegal River below it. So we've got cities, but a lot of the cities disappear when you back out. So this map from Google only shows one city when it's pulled out this far. But there are a few more zooming in. Another physical feature that can help us is the peninsula here. I've been calling it the Hook, and the Hook is 594 kilometers away, but it's almost a horizontal line, so that's kind of useful. In maps without borders, it's a good way to estimate where the Eye of the Sahara would be located. Now here it's called La Guerra, that's today's name, and some Arabic name too, but on older maps it's called Cape Blanco. So I'm going to be talking about Cape Blanco quite a bit. Here's a Cape Blanco in English. This is a modern map, but the word Cape Blanco is in English, and it's been called Cape Blanco for quite a few years. And you can just follow this border right out to the Eye of the Sahara. So if you have a border of Western Sahara, or it's called a lot of other names, if you have that borderline, you can follow it right out to the eye. And it's useful if there is a border. But if there's not a border, there's a lot of other physical indicators. Cape Capo Blanco is here, and it's actually mostly Western Sahara, but part of it is Mauritania. And that's at the top of what I call the rough coast, the rough bay. And it's quite rough, and we've got a few things here. And then below this little tiny peninsula, which is called Cape Myrick, we have the smooth coast that goes down, and that's the Senegal River, and there's Nouakchott, which is the capital of Mauritania. This other stuff here, Dakar, that point, this was called Cape Verde. Let me show you. We have all these different points. So this one is called Dakhla, or Point Sintra, Point de Sintra, Punto de Sintra, right? That's Spanish. So Punta de Sintra, which we don't ever really see very much. But we also have Cape Barbas, which is here. That doesn't have a name in the modern map, not showing at least. Cape Blanco, I talked about that. Cape Muric. I think this is important, so let's call that Cape Muric. And we have down here Nashat going down to St. Louis, and the delta of the Senegal River, which is the lower border of Mauritania. And another important thing are the islands. We have the Canary Islands up here, and we have the Cape Verde Islands, which Dakar points at them, but it's also called Cape Verde. So there's a lot of old names. You can see it right there, Cape Verde. And all of these physical attributes can help us. Let's take a look at some modern day maps. This is a local tourist map done in 2015. And it's a kind of, looks like it was put together pretty rough, but I guess it's better than nothing. And you can see the Eye of the Sahara right there. But we also have some older maps, some antique, I would call it antique, right? Not really ancient maps. And one of them goes back as far as 2300. That's more of the ancient, the Ptolemy map. I'll show you that later. But I do have a list of where I got most of these maps from, but not all of them. Now in the 1900s, we have this map, and what it shows to me is just the colonization of Africa. I don't find that quite useful, especially since up close you don't really see, there is something going on here, that the reason they wanted to colonize it, but that's Cape Verde, there's the Cape Verde Islands, there's the Canary Islands. So you know it's going to be between these two islands. And if you look here, you can kind of make out, this must be the Hook, and then the Rough Bay, and then the Smooth Bay. So this is really just the capital of Mauritania. Why they stretched it out to here, not sure. That's another video. There are some water sources here. That is the river of Senegal right there. So that's probably all done for water. I think it's more of a colonization of different countries. But other maps from 1900 shows that Western Sahara was called the Rio de Oro. And this is pretty good. This map is pretty correct with its outline. But if you follow the border out, you do see a drawer, but you don't see anything else except for the word a drawer. And I can't even make out what those say, but we know that the eye is right here. So I'm not going to really pay attention to maps from the 1800s, but I do want to show you a couple. Again, we can see Point Blanco here going out to, that looks like the eyebrow of the Sahara. Here's a close-up of that. That map was made in 1880, and this one was made by the same guy. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. That guy made two maps. And you can see here in 1852, if you follow the point blank out, you see the city of Hoden. So we've already got something new here, right? The city of Hoden. And I'm going to show it to you here because the city of Hoden there isn't very prominent. But here you can see it's really the only thing there. Let's get way in there. And there's Cape Blanco. And we go in and suddenly we have this Hoden. And I guess the dot is there. But there's no rivers leading up to it. There's no rivers. In fact, the only river you can see here is the Senegal River. Again, this next map, it's a little bit different. It's a little more clear. You can see Hoden is lower than last time, right? Before Hoden was up here. If you follow, I guess if you're following the line, it's still lower. You have the gum forests. You have some other, whatever that is. And then you have this little river that shows up right near Cape Muric. And I do believe that there's a point there. That's the rough. So when I called it Cape Muric, I could have been wrong because I thought it was talking about the point that was north of it. Let me show you another one. In the 1800s, we have quite a few. This one shows a river going up there. It's not very clear. This one here from 1787 shows nothing at all. Look at this, an angry guy. There's Punto de Cintura. There's, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Anyways, you see the Tropic of Cancer right here, and you know that it's below the Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degrees, so we're talking 21 degrees. If this is 20 for some reason, and it could be in the 1700s, but the prime meridian's not correct. So don't ignore that, because the prime meridian would be over here somewhere. So this is showing Cape Blanco a rough coast, a point, a smooth coast. So Nashat is about here, and there's no river at all. So the river literally disappeared. We had this here, I don't know what that says, River St. John maybe? But in this map you don't see it. Oh, I'm sorry, not that map. That map you do see it, but it's so unclear. I couldn't get a clear version of that map. Here we see that there's nothing. Well, let's keep going back, and let's find a couple of other things. Okay, here we see the Canary Islands and the Cape Verde Islands, and there's the Senegal River right there. But these borders are completely different. Look, this is the whole top up to the top of Africa, and it's called Desert Barbary or Barbara. This is called Barbary. So, you know, we've got a completely different government kingdom making maps here. This is 1737. You can read what he wrote there. I could try to translate that. Stereographic projections, legitimate stereographic. Anyways, Hoekstra means next to, but it doesn't matter because we're just looking at their map, and as you can see, this is point blank. Wait, where's point? There's point, the Cape Verde Island, that's Point Verde, or Cape Verde, sorry. Cape Verde's here. Cape, this says Capo Blanco, so that's Capo Blanco right there. And going down, you can kind of see some action. Let's get a little closer here. You've got that little river, and it goes up. And what's that? Is that Hoden? A completely different name. But you've only got one river. I really want to get farther. And in this one, I just showed you that the prime meridian's not the same as our prime meridian. Here it is here, closer. It's got to be a river, but where is the eye? Is that it? Let's keep moving and take a look at something else. This is a little more clear, but it still shows Barbaria. And here, this is a Bille du Leherdio. Anyways, this is 1710. And here is the Cape Blanco. Let's go to my close-up here. This is Cape Verde. It's kind of curved for some reason. It's pointing to the Cape Verde Islands. That's definitely not our goal. That is the Senegal River. But if you go up here, we can see Cape Blanco, and this is the 20-degree line. If this is the Tropic of Cancer, this must be the 20-degree line right here. You can actually see two rivers. Hoden is here, and it says Galata or Hoden, if I'm not mistaken. Is this English? Is this Timbuktu? Tumbuk? So that's definitely Mali over there. There's some salt mines, there's some mountains, and there are two rivers. 1, 2. And there's some kind of a city there, and there's some kind of a little city or castle there. Usually a castle means a city, right? Okay, before 1700, 1644, it says here Mare Atlan, and we've got the Canary Islands, and we've got the Cape Verde Islands. There's Cape Verde, so there's Punta Blanco right there. You can see a river below that going to Hoden. Let's get closer. Yeah, and you can see a little city now. The city must have moved, but what happened to that other, oh, there it is, that other river's up there. That's right by the Tropic of Cancer, and we've got Gualana region. I think that R-E-G means region, and we've got, where's a drawer, and who did it? That's a Bleu, maybe he's French. I mean, this whole area was controlled by the French at that time. Now here is the 1584 Abraham Ortelius Atlas. Now look at what we got here. This is big changes. I mean, well, those two are, that's the Senegal River, but you look at the other rivers going along the coast. Now we have several going all around, and you can see some interior lakes as well. Our area, you've got Cape Blanco and Cape Verde, and you can see, not really sure where the capital is, but what you can see is this river going all the way up to Hoden, and if you follow that out, it's showing Hoden existing where our proposed Atlantis location is. Now that's interesting. Look at all these rivers. We've got 1, 2, 3 above Cape Blanco, and 1 right at the Tropic of Cancer, and 2 below the Tropic of Cancer before Cape Blanco. And then we have this long one that's kind of at the end of the rough coast, the rough bay I called it, and then where's the smooth bay? And there's Cape Verde. So it's kind of hard, but I mean, come on, look at that. There's a city, there's a name, Hoden, right? And here's a couple of similar maps. This shows Hoden right on the river. It's actually a related map. This one has a swordfish in it. Look at that swordfish. And the other one doesn't have the swordfish, but it shows Hoden right on the river. Look at this. This is a close-up of the top part. Same map, but look at all these. I call these sperms, I know. But look at the reason why. Because they don't seem to go anywhere. Like most rivers, they go to the ocean, right? But these internal rivers, they're going all over the place. This one, Map of the World 1517, that's the same guy. So I think we're going to see the same information here. Let's get a little closer. Oh, this is okay, that's the one we just saw, his Africa. And then this is one, I think it's related. Let's get in there and take a look at this one. Well, here you can see the Senegal River. And you can see Hoden with a little tiny river here that's not getting too close to it. What other names do we recognize? Cape Blanco. Follow that over and you get to Hoden. Pretty simple, right? That's the 20-degree line. We've got the Cape Verde with a river above it, and we have one river, that same river that goes to Hoden. Now this map, 1554, Sebastian, it's got definitely I'm going to call this the Hoden River, Hodeni. But the interesting thing about this, and I'm pretty sure that this is a little too far south. How did they discover this? Did they go from here to there? Of course, you can go to Hodeni. By the way, where's this island now? That island's gone, right? Cape Verde. There's the Senegal River here. It's right above Cape Verde, but you have another river here. Is that part of the Senegal River, or is that part of something else? And then what's this? This Negrite, Niger. I mean, now they're calling that country Libya. So where's Niger? A map here. This map is from, it looks like it's the same map. Some kind of a relationship. There's the 1554 map, and then this one is a little bit different. They all show Africa as being kind of pointy and flat and like a rectangle at the top. That's the other side of Gibraltar. There's Spain right there. Now, this is the Ribeiro map. It was 1529, and it's got 3D. That's the best I can get, and I zoomed in and it got kind of blurry. But one thing you can see, and let's look at this. This is Cape Verde, and this is Cape Blanco, and this is the rough coast, and you have what looks like, relief decoration for trees and mountains. But over here, you can see what looks like a city. I don't think that's part of this, because look down here. Do you have a city there? You have more trees? No. This map was taken from, it's got Chinese characters on it, but it was actually drawn by an Italian guy. Let's take a look. It says here the Italian guy was named Matteo Ricci, but he had Chinese collaborators, and they did all the writing. Now this one shows Africa and Europe on the left and the Americas. See, so if we're seeing the Americas, we know this was after Columbus discovered so-called America. These maps didn't appear until after his expedition. Now let's get a little closer to that and see. Here we have the islands, and so these three, that's the delta going to Senegal. There's some kind of a major major lake here. And I do know one thing, that this is showing the Juin Fu Hao for pronunciation, but honestly, that's not that character. That's not Shi. So it's Ya as far as I know. So this is kind of interesting. It shows one river. I think that's our Hodeni River right there. And now this is one of the maps. It says it's the most expensive map in the world because it's America's birth certificate. 1507, right after Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And there are a few types of it. This one is from 1492, but I think that that's kind of a rounded up number. Let's assume that. Here's Africa from one of those maps. Nile River going through, where's Senegal River? Is that the Senegal River? Maybe that's the Senegal River, because it's kind of, I don't really like this map, and you can it's hard to make out a lot of stuff in here. I tried looking up different versions of the map, but it gave me the same results. If this is the Senegal River, then what are these islands here? If this is Cape Verde Islands, this is Cape Verde down here, and that's our point. So we got a lot of different rivers showing in here. They certainly aren't roads, and if that is Senegal River down here, I don't know. This must be it right there. If this is the Senegal River Delta, what's this going through Sahara Desert, south of all the local mountains? This is the 1459 Fra Mauro map. And of course it was upside down originally. But zooming into it, you can see that Africa kind of looks like the head of a cat or a lion. And they deliberately wrote those there to make it look like an eyeball. Look at those nostrils. You have two nostrils, you have teeth. But what I really think is happening here is you're going down the coast and then you're cutting in. This is the Senegal River, clearly Senegal. And so if that's Senegal River, then we really need to focus on this area right here. And let me get into another map that's very simple. This is right side up. See, if you need to read the writing, you have to turn it back over. But when we get in here, it's kind of hard to see. These islands here kind of represent maybe the Canary Islands more than they do the Cape Verde Islands. Not really sure about this map. I kind of thought maybe these were parts of the Senegal River, but it's just not clear enough. And then this map was from 1505. And now I think that this was based on one of the early maps because it's showing a really simple island in the middle of the Sahara Desert. This is the Senegal River right there, but these rivers are connecting to those rivers. So this is a mountain range that's separating them. You don't see any rivers here though, so maybe they consistently dried up. I heard that it was a desert, but when you see how close these things are together, it's kind of curious. But then again, this didn't finish, so we don't know what was happening there. This is a Hereford Mappa Mundi, 1300. And this one also was kind of upside down. If you look at it here, it's kind of hard to figure out where Africa is. It had to be turned 90 degrees. This is Africa. You can see quite a few rivers, but you see the Nile connecting maybe to this thing. If this is the Senegal River, it's hard to detect, so kind of hard to figure it out. You've got a lot of these sperm rivers where there's a big head and they go into nowhere. Moving to the 1300s, we don't have anything. 1200s, we have something. It's the Cultural Exchange Al-Idrisi map, and that's 1154. And this map shows, what does that show? Well, you can kind of see that there's the Senegal River. I assume that's Senegal. And you can see this river up here below the Atlas Mountains. This one is the Tabula Rogeriana map. It's got a lot of Arabic on it. You can see Africa's here. There's Spain. I guess these things are just mountain ranges. Here's another close-up. That's got to be the Senegal rivers. And now back down to the ancient maps. In the year 200, that's not so ancient, is it? We have this person kind of doing the same thing. This looks like it was based on the Herodotus map. We have a lot of different words you might recognize, like Guaditana. But what I'm kind of curious about is these islands. I already showed you this map because of this island next to Spain. I mean, the Pillars of Hercules are here. You don't know any island that's right next to them, do you? Maybe the one I showed you earlier that's underwater. Ptolemy's Geography, 150 BC. And you can see here, Atlas Mountains, boom. And here you've got this weird river complex that's in the middle of the Sahara Desert, probably part of Senegal, in my opinion. I mean, the Senegal River, but this shows the Senegal River entry right here. There's another version of it. You can see it here. And the Ptolemy map, which is pretty famous, shows Atlas Mountains here, Mauritania, all the way up there, and what looks like the entry to the Senegal River here, because that would be Cape Verde right there. And that would be, I'm not sure what this is. We've got a river here, we've got mountains in there, we've got another, what looks like an ancient lake here. Oh, maybe these waters are going underground. I mean, there was an ancient lake bed, right? Here's another version of that. That's not, we can't see anything on that. This one, I looked it up, and I don't think it belongs here, but it came up as a Ptolemy. But what you can see is that there's this thing here. Let's assume those are mountains, because that certainly isn't a river. And it's showing a smaller river right here. I mean, how can this thing be bigger than the Nile by Egypt? So I think they just recreated our shape of Africa, but they stuck those mountains in there. They had a little knowledge, but what you see here is this going, well, let's move in a little closer. You see this mountain going all the way to the end of the continent. Okay, what do we got here? This one, we're seeing pretty much, this is the Ptolemy map. It's just one of the earlier versions of it. And we're seeing a lot of different stuff, like lakes here, interior lakes. No entry points for Senegal. This one right here, you can see Africa here, and you can see Spain. That's what helps me, in Italy. Those are correct. This might be a lot older than ancient. But the thing is it shows what looks like a mountain range and a pass through, but no river. Those are rivers here. There's a river there. This is the top of Africa. So the Sahara Desert wasn't so old, was it? And last but not least, we'll look at Herodotus' map. He did this map in 450 BCE. That means that you have to add that to 2000. If any map's ancient, it's this map. This is the most ancient map. And what do you have? You have what Ancient Insight pointed out was that the word Atlantis is right there. Atlantis with a question mark next to it. Why would they put that there? Maybe they thought it was the Atlantis that everybody knows but doesn't talk about. And this now is the Orbis Herodotus, Herodoti, and you can basically see the same thing. Atlantis, Antarantis, means King Atlas. So this is really what Bright Insight did for me. He showed me this map here. And this map that I showed you from 1505 looks very similar to that one. So if that's true, I think that maybe this guy copied it from some ancient scroll. But you keep seeing Atlantis on the Herodotus map. This one just says Atlas. It doesn't say Atlas Mountains, but maybe the Kingdom of Atlas. This is the Atlas Mountains. Honestly, you can call this part of the Atlas Mountains. You wouldn't call this the Adrar. So this is like the last big piece of Atlas Mountains. And if you look at this, there's mountains that go across the Sahara Desert. It's the lowest, most southern point of the Atlas Mountains. And then down here you have the Adrar Mountains. Okay, and they're very high. This is the highest point on the whole area. Very few mountains over here are as high as this. This is very high, 700 meters. It's the Adrar Mountains. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is because, and by the way, I do have my other device to show me if people are chatting, so I can check this out. Whoa, shut up, David. What are you talking? Don't talk. Okay, I have one viewer. Hello, one viewer. Welcome. Now, I'm showing you this for a reason, and the reason is coming soon. So let me show you. Okay, this one we don't need. Let me just move that. I want to stop going here. And the thing I'm going to show you is this. Africa Tabla, number 1. And you see Spain and you see Africa. This is Mauritania. Now this one doesn't really show much. I'll show you up close here. This is another thing that's going to come up soon is this Maghreb Sea. I'm going to talk about this. I got all this stuff ready for you. This is how people would think of Atlantis going beyond the Pillars of Hercules forward and finding a spot. There was no north and south. So this is the Atlas Mountains right here. And if you look at Atlas Mountains and maybe you see other mountains below it, you have to ask yourself, is this the Adrar? Is this the Adrar? And there's a lake right there. So that's what I really want to talk about. Here's Cape Verde. Now, this is not clear, but what you can see is these Cape Verde islands lined up. And by the way, if you want to ask me how old this map is, it's 1478. So it's more than 600 years ago. And you've got Cape Verde. You've got an entrance to the Senegal River here. This is the Senegal River complex. But up here, south of where? Well, there's the Canary Islands. So you have to assume that this is the Capo Blanco. And you see rivers going to a lake right here. Now, this is not clear. Where's my... I'm going to close this because I don't want to keep showing you this. I can close this because I've made my point. that if you go through the Pillars of Hercules, this point here is almost a straight line. See the Chris Tolworthy video. These ancient lakes, one of them is here. Now, it could have been different sizes. You have rivers going north. You have rivers going towards where? Towards Point Blanco and Point, this one that's just south. That's the exit of the Tem and Reset River. I know that's not clear. And then we have also this river, which goes to Lake Senegal and the Senegal River. Now, we do have some river outlets down here that are not showing on this ancient map. Why not? I'm not sure, but I'm going to close that. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to talk about this map. Look at that. Look how clear that is. So when you look at this map, you can see really clearly the Pillars of Hercules, 1, 2, 3 rivers right there. So you have to say to yourself, where's the southernmost part of the Atlas Mountains? Look at this river. You got a river going through here. Does that mean that this is Atlas Minor? It says right here, look at this. Let's take a look. It's so clear. So I'm going to look at it nice and clear. Look how clear that is. Wow. I like this. What is this? This is the Barry Lawrence Ruderman Antique Maps Incorporated, USA. Atlas Minor. And if we look at it really clearly, we can definitely see the, where are we? That says Atlas what? What does that say? Atlas Major? Okay. So what I think we are seeing here then is I changed my mind. About this. What we're seeing here is we're seeing this mountain here is the same as this right here. Okay. So it said Atlas Major. Maybe this is the Atlas Major and this is the Atlas Minor. Personally, I don't think that this is that high. I don't really know what this is. I don't know because I haven't really been able to look at it through 3D software. But this mountain here, I believe that the lake we're going to see right here, and I'm going to show you right now. So let me keep showing you these pictures. Here we are. If we look at this, Cape Verde, which is clearly here, and that's the Cape Verde Islands. We see the Senegal River entrance here, but we're seeing several rivers going into the mountains here and here and here. And let's be honest, this is clearly the Tropic of Cancer. And down here, you can clearly see Point Blanco and or Cape Blanco and Cape Myrick. You've got the mud island right there. Look at that. There's the mud. And then below there's Knockshot about here. You've got rivers going up here. This is from when? When is this? This says Afrique Table 1. And what I really can't get is this here. Okay, so north of Cape Blanco, we have, and I believe that this is the lower, what they called Atlas Major. So Atlas Minor, there's a lake. That's Lake Maghreb. But here they show it going north in a river to the north part. Do you really believe that? I don't know. And by the way, this looks like one of those that has multiple lakes. Multiple lakes. Now this is Capo. This is the Tropper of Cancer right here. It says right there, Canceri tropicus. So this is the Tropic of Cancer right there. Unfortunately, they don't really show that. Here, look at this one. This one I found. This is the Geographia by Ptolemy, Africa Tabula 3, 1540, Basel edition, Maps of Africa. Okay, let me make sure everything's okay here. That info makes the 1400s map might come from data going back to 12,900 years when the glacier age still existed. Yes, and by the way, Mr. Hammond, thank you for your comments. I want to make it clear that I did see your comments before, but they were removed when I shortened my video, and I couldn't go back and read them. You had some really good points, and thank you. Welcome back. Please don't be shy to come back later and restate your points in the permanent video comments, because the live stream comments disappeared. It might have been green. I think Africa was 100% green. Look at this map. This is based on 1540 data. And you can see two lakes, just like that other map. And you can see mountains here. I believe that since this is the Tropic of Cancer right there, you've got one lake just north of the Tropic of Cancer right here. This is the Geographia by Ptolemy APHRICAE, Africae Tabula 3, Basel edition. And there's a lot of I mean, if you read Latin, then tell me what this says. It looks like it's got cities. This is pretty far north. So this is definitely still Morocco. And you've got Libya and Ethiopia down here. And there's a mountain that separates that. This is the Nile. So you have to realize that this picture is showing going the full span of the Sahara Desert. There's probably a couple things we can learn from this, but honestly, it's pretty exaggerated. So I wouldn't put too much faith in this map, but there's stuff to be learned here. The Maghreb Sea, you've got the Adrar Mountains. Okay, this is not showing mountains. You've got the Atlas Mountains up there, but you've got mountains here, and I believe that that big, huge piece is right there. Let's take a look. Let's compare this. We'll compare this side with this side. And you do see a small Lake Senegal there. That would be right here. Lake Senegal would be right here. You can follow the river along the border. It's right there. That's the border between Mauritania and Senegal. Senegal is here. There's the Gambia. And the border is the river. And according to this, it would be right here. This is exactly where I show those ancient canals. Where's that one? I think it must be here. So when you look at this and you see the Senegal River here, where's the lake? They don't show the lake. But there was an ancient lake about here. Then you see this, and you see a lake here, and you see the Tamanrasset River outlet here causing mud, and it must have gone like right about here. So the ancient lake is up there. It's all pretty clear. I found a lot of new maps, and I think I can go through this one here. I was trying to show you my copy, but I want to show you where I got it. Again, Barry Lawrence, Ruderman Antique Maps Incorporated. Great map. Let's see if we can zoom in here again. I already showed you, but let's just go again and find our points. This would be Capo Blanco. So if you're looking at this, this is pretty confusing. It says Mauritania, but that's not really correct. You've got the Atlas Mountains. This is the Atlas Minor. This is the Atlas Major. So what I think we're seeing here is that the Eye of Africa is down here. I can't really pay much more attention to that. I do have some other maps I dug up. I searched the term Africae, Africae, then TABVLA, because it's Latin, and I got a bunch of different new maps. So when you look at these, please keep an open mind. Oh, this has got a lot of, let's just save this. This is a good one, but it doesn't really show everything. Look at that, nice and clear. And you can see a couple things. The mountains are far away from the shore, but you can see the Tropic of Cancer here. So the lake must have been right about here. We saw that lake in the other map. Where's that lake now? And then you see here Hoden or Huadain. That is definitely the the Eye of Africa right there. You see a river going right up into there. Very prominent. I don't know about 12,900 years ago, Mr. Hammond, because these maps were all made in the 1500s, 1400s. Why would they have that in the 1400s if it was 12,000 years ago? I think that the ancient lake that was right about here was probably just bigger 12,900. Yeah, of course. I believe that 12,900 years ago, we had a big lake right here. There are more maps, but I have to be honest, I don't really follow them. I mean, if you want to go down this map, you can see that it's got a lot of stuff. This is a map that the year on this, it doesn't say. I'd have to figure it out, but it actually shows both the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So there definitely are a lot of information. I wouldn't know where to start down here because I haven't looked at it in real life. I've looked it up here in real life. Cape Verde. I'm focused on here. But one thing that I do want to say is this Egypt River, there's a point where it gets really close to the Senegal River. Probably here. It comes together into one spot. I do pay attention to this in the maps. Where do those rivers come together? There's a big lake here. This is quite interesting. I don't know what that meant. Data sets that were passed around. I didn't catch your meaning. Is that an alligator? And what's this? Quite a big lake. That's not Lake Senegal. Lake Senegal would be about right here. You see, there's the Senegal lake right there. It's kind of a frown. If you look at the main map that I put here, you can see the Senegal River right there. That's ancient. And what I said was that ancient lake was about right here. So this is an ancient lake bed right here. This is an ancient lake bed. And you see all these different canals going down to there. And this is why I'm focused on this whole area, because the concentric circles seem to be in this neighborhood. I think that this was something man-made. Some people were saying that these were dams and that the dams up here broke and flooded this whole area. I got to find that one ancient, oh, there it is right there. Tell me this isn't an ancient canal. How long is this? Let's go back to the beginning and find out how long this is. From here down to here. Well, if one little tiny segment looks like 5 kilometers, that's 5, 10, 15, 20. That's 20 kilometers long. And tell me that's not an ancient canal that went down to the Senegal River lake called Lake Senegal. It's the one that went down there. If you look at this Barry Lawrence Ruderman map, oh, sorry, wrong map. I'm going to close that. Say goodbye. I think it's this one right here. This is an interesting one. I pulled that one off. I'm just going to, I think I looked at this once already. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's take a look. So here we can see Lake Senegal there. No ancient lake here, but we see a lake here. Okay, we looked at this already. And then we have this lake. This is Senegal. So if this is mistakenly Senegal here, that must be Lake Senegal. So 2 rivers, Lake Senegal. And then up here we've got a few rivers going into the Adrar Mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rivers going up to the Adrar. I think this is highly exaggerated and very small. I'm going to get rid of this. I don't want to see this again. The one I wanted to show you. We saw this one already. So again, you saw that ancient lake by Tropic of Cancer. So this must be very close to the Adrar Mountains. I'm going to close that down. I don't want to see that again. We saw this. We saw that. Close. I want to close this. Can I? I hope I can. I found a few other big ones. That one was a good one. I like that map. It was right here. You see this ancient Lake Senegal right about here. I don't know the answer to that question, Squeal O'Neill. I really would have to research that before I responded. Okay, so there's the Tropic of Cancer. This is Cape Verde. You have the Senegal River, probably the Lake of Senegal. Hoden, you can see the river going right up to Hoden here. And it says Huadain, Hoden. This is the eye of the Sahara right there. Okay, closing that. Don't want to see that again. This one's a good one. Let's enlarge that if we could. Let me just, that's going to take forever. Save image as like this. This is the Toitus africani. I'm saving it because I actually don't have this saved. Toitus africani. Now, I've seen versions of this before. And as you can see, Cape Verde is very prominent here with a river going straight across. It says Senegal. And then this one would be in the Gambia. The Gambia right there. Don't know where it's going. But Huadain, we know. This is the Cape Blanco going straight over to Huadini. And there's a mountain there. But look what's up above it. There's a big lake right behind the Atlas Mountains. The first, the second, this must be the Atlas Major. Big lake, Niger Palace. So right north of Houdini. This is the ancient Lake Maghreb. What else could it be? What else could it be? You do have one out here. It's in the middle of the country. There's the Nile. And you're not seeing any connective rivers here. I'm going to close that. Let's go to the next one. What's this? Okay, this is the same thing. Keeping on going. Let's keep going. What's this? Okay, this is over near Egypt. That's Egypt. So let's close that. I don't want that. This is too small. Wow, that looks actually, let's visit that. It looks familiar. Let me go here. That's it. Let's save it. Open it up and take a quick look. But already I'm seeing some interesting things here. I mean, this is definitely, look at how they just line it up next to it. This is the Tropic of Cancer. And you can see a lake south of that. Now, where's the Point Blanc? I don't see that. But you can see this must be Senegal. So this is Lake Senegal right here. But you can see, look at this. You see a river going straight north into what is the Tropic of Cancer. Actually, the Tropic of Cancer, these are wrong. Don't trust these numbers here. I wouldn't trust these numbers. The Tropic of Cancer is 23.5. Yeah, trust those numbers. I'm sorry. I take that back. That's the Tropic of Cancer right there. We don't see a lake. We see some lake. What is that? Maybe a lake. But down below it, you've got this Lake Senegal with a river going straight north. Now, where was it going? Well, there's only one place that straight north river could go, and that was the eye of the Sahara, which is south of this Tropic of Cancer. Okay, I'm done with this map. This is already taking longer than I wanted. This is an interesting one. What's this? Okay, this must be Italy. So we don't want this map. Not today. This is the same map. Let's get out of there. I think I'm almost finished. What's this? Did we see this? There's a bunch of them. Okay, I think I got it right here. Nope. Let's try this. This is a great video. You ought to check this out. Optimistic Nihilism on the Kurzgesagt channel. But that's not what I care about right now. So I'm going to save this. Let's save it and look at this. And then we're done. Thank you for the 10 viewers and your thumbs up. All right, here we go. That's fast. Okay, we saw this already. So we're done. We're done. Thank you very much for your time. I just wanted to show you these new maps that I discovered. And what I see personally, this is the Canary Islands up here. I mean, they're not showing enough of the eye area. Like you can see here, 23.5 is 28, 29. What's that? 27, 26. So you're not even seeing the Tropic of Cancer in this map. So I'm going to close that down. That's done. But again, we saw a lot of maps today that show multiple rivers going up into the Adrar Mountains, Cape Verde, the Senegal River. We saw Senegal Lake. We saw the sand dunes by Cape Blanco and Cape Miric. And this would be the lake. This would be the Tamanrasset River going up to a lake that was located right here, or maybe up here. So this river goes up to Hoden. I don't see Hoden on this. But we're already finished, so that's it. Shipwreck, Mauritania. I've seen those. Abner the Pig, thank you. Thank you for watching. Please share this video with your friends and your family. I want to get more ancient maps. I know we're having a lot of overlap with which maps look like other old maps. Oh yeah, well, there's one more thing I wanted to show you. So you got lucky. Let me go back. So this is my main collection of maps. Again, I have a lot of different pictures that I showed you before. This topographic map kind of shows the Atlas Mountains and the ancient lake bed here. The Tropic of Cancer is right there going through the ancient lake, just where you saw it on the map. You saw it. So this is real. This is real time today. And you saw an ancient lake right here. And we saw other ancient lakes. The other ancient lake is over here. Where's Senegal? It's right there. So you saw another ancient lake right there. So we have two different lakes. And in that picture, you saw a river running north. Okay, if you're asking where's the eye of the Sahara, it's right here. This is Capo Blanco, and you go over, it's right about here. I was going to show you one more thing. I was going to show you these Herodotus maps. So let's just go to my folder. You know everything about me and how I classify stuff. And here are the ancient Herodotus maps. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So let's just go through them really quickly so you can see the Herodotus maps. Hi, Nick. How are you doing? Thank you for watching. I'm using another device to see these messages because when I use the Google Hangouts app to live stream my desktop, okay, what's going on? I don't want this. I don't want that. Why is that even opening? Okay, let's try that again. What happened? Why did that open a website? That's weird. It's opening a website. That one's done. I'm done with that. Let's try this one. Sheesh. Because this is an LME stock photo. Hey, Nick, were you aware that the Atlantis Mountains were the home of the Atlanteans? Okay, I think we've seen these enough before, but these are like 2,500 years old, and they were in the form of words. They weren't really in the form of sketches. But one thing we see is we see Atlas Mountains, but we see Atlantis down below the Atlas Mountains. Look at this one. This one shows Atlantis here, but the Atarantes over here. We don't see ancient lakes or anything. This doesn't even show it. They weren't willing to put that on there. This one has a question mark next to it. And you can see the Garamantes tribe, and the Nile starts and goes all the way up here. There's a lot of questions, right? Look at this one. Again, this is the German one. Mount Atlas and the Atlantis right south. That's not the German one. Here it is again. pretty old and ancient, but at the same time, it can answer a lot of questions about the direction everything was going. Thank you for telling me that he's there right now, but I hope that he visits the ancient and megalithic structures, including the canals, including the henges, and including the castle itself, which we know is not that ancient, but we want to see it. We want to see it. Okay, I had a little problem with accessing my chat before. I'm going to try not to delete it. Well, I think, Nick, brings up a really good point. The Atlantis tribe that you see here was referring to some people that lived here and moved this direction and went up to Greece. However, that name and the idea that this area down here was a separate continent is covered very clearly in the Chris Tolworthy video. But when it comes to megalithic construction, I think that stuff is much older. And I think there were a series of cataclysmic events that slowly took out those ancient societies. And in the end, 12,600 years ago, we see that there was a cataclysmic event that closed this whole region down permanently for a good few thousand years. Started an ice age, right? And because of that, I believe that we have to start from that point, but then go back farther. And going back farther, about up to 30 to 50,000 years, I think we had ancient civilizations occupying everywhere around the world. Now, I do have another video that I did called Ancient Maps of Atlantis 3. Now, before I show this to you, and I'm just going to give you a quick sneak peek, but before I do, I want you to see some other stuff. Now, this map, and it's one of these African tablets, okay? Tablet. Okay, I'm going to show you later. I'll click it now, and I'll take away the sound. As you can see, though, before I let it run, because I don't want to miss this, that's Cape Verde. That's the Senegal River complex. Okay, they enter just north of Cape Verde. But look at this. North of that, how many rivers do you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, when you look at this, and I really want to get up here and look at that, I want to know what that says. I'm going to check it later. This looks exactly like what you see in the Piri-Reis map. Now that I've brought that up, I'm going to go to the Piri-Reis map right now. It's right here. Right now. Right here. It's right there. Now, I opened it in the wrong program, but you can see the shoal of mud that I'm talking about. What the heck is that? Now, Piri-Reis map shows it. Let me just open this up in another program so I can get a little closer, called Photos. You may have heard of it. And as you zoom into this, now we can zoom in. We can zoom right in there. And you can see the same shoal shape. Look at it. It's got a flat surface on the right-hand side. Okay? And if you go over here to this other thing I just showed you, you can see the flat surface on the right-hand side right there. Now, if you wonder where we are, I do believe that this is Cape Timorous on right there, and this is Cape Blanco up here. There's other names for these places, but I'm saying Cape Blanco, Cape Timorous, because that's using the maps. And this is exactly where the Tamanrasset River came out into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, that being said, underneath Cape Timorous, where the capital of Nouakchott is currently located, you have another possible escape, and it really makes sense. Here, this African tablet. Now I want to let it roll, and let's watch and see if we can find out. I mean, if I go back, are we going to see the name of this map? We're not. why not? I don't know why I did a bad job. There we go. There we go. Let's see it. We're gonna pause it right there. Okay, boom. Now I said the word tablet, but it's Tabvla. If you look this up in Google, you can find a bunch of maps just like this, and you can check it for yourself. Let me zoom in. Oh, I can't. That's a video. At the top, it says Africa tablet. AFRICAE space TABVLA. Now, that's kind of a Roman spelling. As you can see in the top, you see the Morocco and you can see the Canary Islands. And down below, you can see what I call Cape Blanco and Cape Timorous. And this cove has the shoal of mud that Plato wrote about. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome. And this is just some random thing I found. I don't see the, let's let it roll now. I don't see the year. It's very clear. And you can see a lot of detail and a lot of, I don't know if they're showing the prime meridian, but they're showing that right there. Now, let's talk about that. That is definitely the Cape, sorry, what do you call it? The, sorry, I was just watching Randall Carlson. I got my head totally messed up thinking about everything. But this is the Capricorn is not here. This is the sorry. We're going to see in a minute. I'm going to show you in a minute. Let's keep going before I freak out. Okay, you can see Cape Blanco, Timorous, the Shoal of Mud. Up here is the Tropic of Cancer. I see it now. Okay, here it says Occidentali Oceanus. Okay, the Eastern Ocean. And above it shows the Tropic of Cancer right there. This is not the Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn is way, way lower. What are we looking at here? I think that's 20. That's 20. Now, Tropic of Cancer is 23.5, 23.5. So that must be 20, or is that 20? I'm not sure. One of these is 20. Now, I'm going to show you a lot more maps right now. Watch this. This is crazy. The Piri Reis map shows this. This shoal of mud, and this is where the Tamanrasset River came out. This is where the southern rivers came out right here. Totally separate. Totally separate. Okay, that's it. Africa on a whole bunch of them. Now look at that one. Wait. Go back. Go back. Let's let it play. Let's let it play. Okay, this one right here. What is that up there? Okay, so this is Cape Blanco. So we're talking about down here. But up here, there's a lot of other rivers that we see. And this is also, and by the way, it's the Tropic of Cancer. It's also where the oceans, sorry, you know what? Let's just keep going here. I don't even want to try to get into too much detail about this map. This video, Ancient Maps of Atlantis 3, that I did in 2019. Okay, there's a bunch of these I found, and I showed them. And look at this one here. You know, if you go back right here, right there, you can see this other lake. Okay, now I would call that Lake Maghreb, but it shows the river exiting north. And to me, and by the way, there's the mountains, and you can see the lakes north of the mountains. You probably got yourself a little bit of a conundrum here, and you got the other Lake Maghreb going this direction. And I believe that from what I've learned. All right, so we're gonna get past this. We're gonna see. Let's go past this and see what else we can find here. There's a lot of different things here. Okay, this map. Okay, now, this one's kind of weird, right? I don't even know where we are right now. Actually, let's just keep going. It might be upside down for all I know. Is that? Oh, okay. I can tell you where we are. Okay, here we are. That's the Nile going south. And then you got this mountain, the Libyan, what does that say? Libya, Moner. Now, that's where this weird
congruency of rivers ended up in, because you also had rivers coming all the way across the Sahara and also from Senegal. Now, this doesn't show a lot here. This is actually quite interesting. I'll let it run, but this map, you can see on the here on the other side some stuff, but I don't want to get into that. I'm going to fast forward a little more to try to get to some other maps. I don't know what we're looking at. I'm just going forward in this real quick to get some maps that I discovered later on. There we go. So that shows obviously a very Ptolemy flat northern edge of Africa right there. Sick, right? I mean, come on, give me a break, right? There's Egypt. There's the Nile coming out into the Mediterranean Sea. Some guy getting eaten by a fish. And then you got all this stuff happening in the Sahara. Several lakes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lakes. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lakes that were like related to the ancient Sahara water complex. And these are just some of them. I'm not going to even get into this. I'm going back to where I started. Let's go back to the beginning, okay? And that's here. I'm here because we want to know, was the Eye of Africa part of Atlantis? So I did a lot of research back in the day. Now, locations of fortified towns of the Trans-Sahara trading routes. So we're talking about slavery, okay? We're talking about salt. These products were traded, and it happened in Wadan. I went there. It happened in Chinguetti. I didn't go there. These two cities are right next to each other. Wadan is right by the Eye of Africa. Tichit, very important. And then other cities, including Timbuktu. Now, up here, I can show you some stuff, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to show you these maps instead, and I'm going to get through this. These are some local maps for Mauritania. I went to Wadan. I went to Attar. I went to Akjuit. I didn't really stop there. I drove through Akjuit. I know Nouakchott very well. I know it very well. I don't know Rosso. I didn't go down here to Senegal. I've heard stories. I heard about Nouadhibou, and I also heard about this Frederick. I say Frederick. I don't know. It looks like Frederick. It's Frederick. I don't know. Anyways, I was in Wadan, and I went to Richat. Now, they do say that, Richat. Not just Richat, but Richat. It's right there. Before we go there, I want to talk about the coastline so you can identify this place in ancient maps. Now, off the coast of Mauritania and above Dakar, a lot of different surveys were conducted. And you can see, ignore that, but you can see Cape Timorous up here with the shoal of mud as you see it today. And then up here is Cape Blanco, and then Nouakchott, where I stayed for almost 3 weeks. Now, I don't know why they call this little line Chinguetti, but what we're looking at here is the previous shoreline. So what you might find here is a lot of things that could have come from Atlantis, buried in the sand on the shoreline. Senegal, Cape Verde, undisclosed location. I'm in an undisclosed location in the United States right now, and I'm sorry that this is happening. I'm going to double check and make sure that I'm still live. You know, I don't know if that's even happening now. I might be live. Okay, let me go to the next screen so you know if I'm live or not. I mean, honestly, that's not live. That's not live. That's not live. Let's go all the way to the end. Am I live or am I not? This is happening. I'm going to double check and make sure that I'm still live. Okay. I don't think I'm live. Am I live? I might be live. Am I live? Let me go to the next screen. I'm live. I'm live. Okay. OBS. Thank you, OBS. Thank you. I don't know what happened with my other phone. It just died. I thought I had it being charged. What we're seeing here is the Western Sahara berm. Now this berm, I can show you a lot of examples. It's basically sand piled up. Do I believe there's actually landmines up there? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But there's a lot of history here we don't know about. Now, this is the type of sediment you find in the Richat structure. I'm actually trying to get to the maps, but I did have this stuff in here, and it's a bunch of stuff I've found. Let me just say, I've been here, I've been here, I've been through here, and I saw it with my own eyes. I have a lot of opinions about that, which I've already discussed. Okay, we're seeing problems. Am I looking at the wrong thing? I'm looking at the wrong thing. I didn't want to see this. Am I looking at the wrong thing? I am, right? I am. I want to look at, wow. Okay, it's over. Let's close this and let's get into the new one, okay? Let's get into the new one. Where are we? Here. Right there. Okay? I like maps. I like maps. This is in my very popular video. And when we look at ancient maps of Africa, we see a couple of things. We see a lot of possible ancient lakes in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Okay, now this is the Senegal complex, but this map isn't that old. Now, if we go back in time, we can see Africa was already known to have an ocean going through it, and I can show you a lot of different maps that try to mimic that shape. But I don't really want to go back that far. I want to go back 13,000 years because I believe this is where Atlantis was located. This map is one that I finally have in my own possession. The problem is that the video I did was low res and bad connection. So we're going to get past it. Now, I've looked at a lot of maps, and first of all, Sahara Desert, isn't it? Do I have any chats? Okay, I'm going to say hi. Hello, and see if I can have any chats. I don't even have any people watching me right now. I did this because I wanted to show previous video that I've done of the ancient. Now here we have, forget the right, that's Cape Blanco, but you can see some ancient river outlet residue happening right here. I think that's important when you look at what is known now as Cape Verde. No, I'm sorry. It used to be called Cape Verde, and you'd still have the Cape Verde Islands, but this cape is called Dakar, and it's a very hard piece of bedrock that was dragged across the Atlantic Ocean from the mid-Atlantic ridge. It came from a long distance. This was torn across, and it created a line. But I believe what we're seeing here is residual river outlets, and what I'm seeing here is where the ancient 13,000-year-old shoreline was in Africa. So Dakar was a major land point from then and now. Now, going back up past Nouakchott, you get up here to what's called Cape Timorous, the shoal of mud, the outlet of the Tamanrasset River. Ancient Tamanrasset River was wider than the Nile. And then up here, Capo Blanco. Now, I believe it was a major landmark. So when you look at these ancient maps, you know where you are. Okay, now the Cape, now another major, I don't know how to describe it, feature of maps is not only the Tropic of Cancer, but also the Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn is down here. It's also 23.5 degrees south of the equator, which is right here. However, we don't care about that because we're looking at the Eye of Africa, which goes right through almost the Tropic of Cancer. Almost. Technically a little bit lower, probably about 21 degrees, between 20 and 21. So when we look at these ancient maps, now we go back starting here, 1884. The year 1884, wow, that's not very far back, is it? And when you look at this map, it's very reminiscent of the one that I showed. Is it here in the beginning? I don't want to go back. Of the oh my gosh, the movie that was starred the African. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to talk about it because I can't remember. What you do notice is there's a lot of land here. This was called the French Western French Sahara area, and you can see Rio de Oro. Then 1884, Rio de Oro was very well demarcated, and it's even better than Morocco, which is here and not spelled correctly. Algeria, you know, Libya is there, and Egypt. There's some messes. There's some problems there, right? You know that's not correct. But when you look at Rio de Oro, it's exactly the same as it is today. 1884 was the first year that we recognized the colonization of Africa with a map like this. Look at the coastline. These little tiny areas, Gambia, and they're all demarcated, but they're really a little bit like incorrect. Mauritania, if you look at it closely, you can see right here Capo Blanca, Cape Timorous is right there. It's very small. But you can see right there, that's exactly where, I mean, modern lines exist. This is not incorrect in a way. Now here, you see a map from 1880, and it's still rather dull, showing these mountains. If you follow Cape Timorous inland, the Adrar Plateau is demarcated here. Where's Attar? Where are these cities? Here it's even worse. Okay, this is a map from 1856. Totally blank. Oh, but wait, Wadan is right there. Look at that. The one thing you see is Wadane, and I went there. But it's not spelled like that. You got to add an E on the end, okay? And then it's spelled Ouadane, okay? Now, that's a really good landmark. Sometimes I think, look at this one. You can see a circle, okay? Talk about concentric circles. There's another one out here, though. So what are these circles? Maybe mountains, but you see what's called Hoden. Now, this is an 1852 map by Victor Levasseur. Okay, steel engraved with added color of Africa. But what you do see is Hoden. And you can look, Capo Blanco and Cape Mirik, okay, M-I-R. That was shortened. Okay, now what that says, I don't know. But we have a big cape, okay? And whatever that is, you've got Hoden right there. Okay, the Hoden is Waden. Now, it took a viewer of mine to tell me that, but once he did, it made so much sense. Hoden is Waden. Okay? Now, we could keep looking at these other maps. Here's another one of Hoden right there. You can see Hoden, 1851. You can see a couple of other things. Not really helping us. This one is, okay, we're going the wrong way. Let's keep looking. This is actually very good. This Tijit line and Hoden is very clear. Cape Verde, Cape Mirik, Cape Blanco. They're not a big thing here. You don't see any mud shoal now. Here, Cape Blanco, Cape Verde. Where's Mirik? Right there. That's the 1805 map. Okay, we're going farther and past. But look what you have. Hoden is right there with a ring of mountains around it. You got something called the gum forest. 1787. Now we're in a different century. You've got the same problem. You've got the whole Cape Blanco. You've got some prime meridian. L'Isle de Fé. Okay, that's not anything we use now. But this prime meridian is not even barely touching the Cape Verde of Africa. I mean, it's good for reference. Here's one. It shows Again, doesn't even show Hoden. It's a 1737 map. Okay, it shows a river going up, but it doesn't really show Hoden much. Cape Verde's here, Cape Blanco there. It shows the shoal of mud. The shoal of mud that Plato wrote about is right there. Okay, I'm just telling you. The prime meridian goes through England, 0 degrees. It was created in 1884. All right. So anything before 1884 doesn't show the prime meridian. If we're looking here, this prime meridian that I showed you a minute ago, this weird one that's on the 1737 map, this one shows this prime meridian to the left and out in the Atlantic. What are we looking at here? Galvatar, where is it? Galvatar, where are we looking? TH, where's the TH? Oh, over here? Oh, okay. I think that's related to something else. This one, 1710, it shows the Tropic of Cancer very clearly, and it shows Cape Verde down there. Cape Blanco, very rugged right there, and that's it. And you do see a river going to Hoden. Okay, there's another view. Cape Blanco, Big Bay River going up to Hoden. That's the Tamanrasset River. Now, why does it look like a Chinese character for Hai or Gao? Well, look at here in Timbuktu. You see the same thing. It's a city. It's not the character for Gao. Here, it looks totally like Chinese character Gao for Hai. But Hoden's over here, and then mountains are over here. And you have a Seneca, and you have these different separations showing some type of this is 1710 colonization demarcations. This is great, right? This one really shows in 1644 you've got really clear, and the only river that goes in, it goes to Hoden or Wadan. But I'm telling you right now, Wadan is not north of this river. It's south of the river. So I do believe that this is maybe this is the Southern River for all I know. But it shows Cap Blanco. It shows Cape Verde, but it doesn't really show Cape Timorous anywhere around here. So we don't know how far south this goes. Okay, one of my favorites, right? And the reason why is because it's got this big swordfish. This was actually Ortelius Abraham, very famous map. And you can see in it that we got this city of Wadan right there. And right here we've got another one, Toi Fien. What is that? What is that? Is that going to be a city that I've been to? Unsure. We know that Nouakchott is about here. And we see one city here, Tongui. And then we have another city south of that called South Anna, and then Meda. Which one is the biggest one? That one's big. That one's big. I don't know which one is which. This map, it shows Capo Blanco. It shows another Capo, but it's not called Timorous. It's called Del Garze. And then down here you have Cape Verde and the Senegal complex. This is the Senegal River complex. Totally disconnected from up here. Okay, and by the way, you do have a couple of other little rivers. I don't know what G means. Gaia and Dos Vardos and Cipriano. And you got a couple of cities in there too. This is a 1584 map. Wow. This one is also very similar and very basic. But 1554, you've got Huadeni. Now it's Hodeni with an I. You've got Kaput Albu, Dargoon, and you've got this shoal of mud right there. Shoal of mud. There's a river going in. Let's just say that if Munster Sebastian... Okay, by the way, and let's take a look at this. Nigir Palu Nigrite. Okay, this is Libya's interior, or what's going on here? I have no idea. Where's Boudezor? I have no idea. But we do have Caput Verde, that's Cape Verde. The Green Cape, that's the Senegal River right there. And you see it going up and drying out right there in these mountains. Well, they probably went up to Huadane. You got this other river, Regnum. That's probably the southern river. Now, if you haven't seen my videos, I was talking about this just recently. There were two river systems near the Richat. One that went out in Cape, by the Mud Shoal, north of Cape Timorous, and then another one that was north of Nouakchott, south of Cape Timorous. Now, this map is 1507, and it includes stuff that Christopher Columbus found. If you want to go over here on the left side, you can see North and South America. There's Africa, and when you get in here and you look very closely, you see a whole S-load of rivers. Now, let's be careful. There's Cape Verde and the Senegal River. If you match this up here, that's the Senegal River complex. But everything you see here out of focus, I'm sorry it's out of focus, not my call, brah. But you can see river 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a bunch of mountains and a bunch of circular stuff here. There's clearly Cape, we can go back up to the original, that's Cape Blanco. And Cape Timorous is right about there. So those rivers coming out are representing the Tamanrasset. And I don't know what, that's a mountain right there. That's not a river. All right, let's keep moving. I don't want to spend all night. 1459, the Fra Mauro map. Now, if you don't know it by now, it's upside down. So everything that's written is upside down. I'm showing it to you as we recognize it. And Africa looks like literally the face of a lion. And if you look at it closely, you can see the Senegal River complex down here. This isn't very useful for what I want to show. Christian Faiths, Hereford's Mappa Mundi from 1300. Now, this map shows some stuff. What does it show? You've got an island between Spain and Africa right there. It looks like a fish, and there's another island out there in the Atlantic. Going down, you've got this river complex. Okay, this doesn't show us much we can accept, but you do have this river going across the Sahara over to the Egypt complex, and it's meeting over here somewhere. It shows some information that might actually explain some stuff. This map, it's kind of interesting, very old. You can see the islands outside the Atlantic. You can see the word Negr something. You can see what I consider to be the Senegal complex. That it would be the Cape of, I don't know what that is, the 20th line, and this is down below. We have it here, it's here. You can see that is basically probably the Tropic of Cancer, for all I care. You can see it here, the Tropic of Cancer. Down here, the Senegal River complex. And then here, a river going up to Huadane. What are we looking at? This is another, let's look at we don't have the whole thing, but this map is very similar to the one we saw up here, I think. In my opinion, it's very similar to this one right here. And you can even see here, Oceanos Atlanticus, written in the ocean, right above in the Atlantic Ocean. And down there, let's go back, head back over there. It says the exact same thing. I think this is a mistake. This is in the wrong spot, for all I care. But you can see very clearly Huadane, something called Bala, something called Ganistica up here. It's probably closer to Morocco. Now, this map is very interesting. I don't know if it's real or fake, but one thing about it is it shows that Spain and Africa are connected. It also shows a lake here. Now you can see Cape Verde, you can see the Cape Verde complex, but above that you don't see any rivers, but you do see this lake, and it shows a river going all the way across. It was done in the 1500s. I did a poor job here, but you can see the date. I don't know if it's real or fake, but it shows some interesting stuff. And you see this one river leading up to from here down to the so-called Senegal River complex. I believe that we do have rivers going straight north. This one, very old. Don't have a date on this. What's going on here? Also, like, this is the Ptolemy types. This one shows some interesting things. This one shows the Canary Islands and the mountain range, the Atlas Mountains, with what looks like a lake and a river going across. Could be wrong, you know. There's some information here that I copied before. I thought it would help you recognize the map. This one here shows North and South America, so it couldn't be that old. It's in the wrong place. Okay, I think we're done with this. When I talk about Herodotus, I just want to say that Herodotus was not a map. It wasn't a sketch. It was written in the form of paragraphs. What Herodotus wrote was that the Atlantis was right about here. Now, if you notice, the Nile cuts over. This is the world according to Herodotus. I don't want to say this is perfectly correct, but you definitely have some questions. Now, here's another one, and it shows Atlantis right next to the Atlantis. So the Atlantis is over here somewhere in Western Africa, according to Herodotus. The Atlas Mountains, the Nile apparently had a couple of different rivers that went across the Sahara. These are some early pictures from a long time ago. I don't know if they were still doing our thing here, but I'm going to keep showing you some pictures. These are some really old ones from visiting Atlantis. You can pause this as you please. These are the original slides that brought me into this whole story. And I looked at that information very clearly. I do believe that these concentric circles have some meaning. I mean, they're prominent enough. Are there pyramids near Cuba? Is there a pyramid near the Azores? Probably. I think it could be true. But let's not forget that. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Bimini Road is in the Pyrenees map. Okay, these guys, this is the folks from visiting Atlantis. I talked to her in an email, asked her if I could use her material. She said no problem. I mean, if it was really her. Here's some pictures of so-called dome geology. I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe it for a second. And that's it. This video is over. I wanted to show you this information. Let's call it quits. If you have any questions, before I leave, let's see if there were any questions. Anybody have any questions? Nothing? Oh, you know what? I'm not even monetized. Let me monetize this. Before we go any farther, I need my money. Show me the money. Three are watching. Thank you for getting here. Thank you so much. Oh, I got a few more subscribers. Wow, we got some stuff going on here. Let me get here to my content. I wasn't going to do a live stream, but it's the easiest way to make a video. There we go. I'm monetized now. Let's do it. Let's get this out there. Okay, this video, I want you to check it out. I called it Ancient Maps of Atlantis 3. I did it in May 20, 2019. There's a lot of other maps. I mean, I could probably scroll through if you wanted to see it. I got some comments in there. Lots of questions, right? The Maghreb Sea. What about this guy? Oh, not that. These tablets, African tablets, just incredible. They're showing basically what you're seeing right there is the Taman Reset right there. It splits up into two parts. Okay, I can believe that. You've got a shoal of mud. It's what stopped people from getting to Atlantis after the cataclysmic event that happened 13,000 years ago. Read what Plato wrote. He wrote about this. He didn't write it. He wrote about the Diver Islands out here, but he also wrote about the continent, which he considered an island bigger than Libya and Asia combined. There's a lot of videos in here. There's a lot of maps in here. Africa Tabla. You can find them by yourself. This one's a little different. You can see it from here. There's a bunch of them. I showed this. Is a little different, but it's based on the same understanding. You can see Capo Blanco. You can see Hoden. You can see the river. And so many things. You know, you can see here it demarcates that Hoden was not only a city but an like a precinct or a county, you know, or a state. You can see both Hoden City, and it shouldn't be on the north side of that river. So I'm thinking that this river is the one that goes on the south side of it.
All right, there I am, angry because technology is always messing with me. I just can't handle it. So we'll take a look at this. Hopefully the resolution's good enough. This is the Ptolemy family, which is a general from Egypt, and he was doing maps. And this is the one that I was looking at earlier. It's the same one. And so let's go over it real quick. So here's the Senegal River, and what happened here is I think it's done for artistic purposes. Because, well, I guess it wouldn't be artistic if it's upside down, because if you turn it over, it looks like a lion's head. That's Africa. But if you realize that it's turned over because he didn't realize south was south and north was north, and why should he? Then it doesn't look like that at all. So you're looking right at it. It says Mauritania right there. You can see that you've got what I believe is really the mud bank, which you can see right here. Let me go show you again. Here is a mud bank. Now, that mud bank probably has changed over the last 600 years, and according to some maps, it's pretty prominent, and we've heard some stories about that mud bank being very prominent. Now, this is Capo Blanco, this is Cape Myrick, and then it goes down, 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 past Nouakchott, the capital, and then Senegal is the border of Mauritania, and then you've got the Dakar point. And I do believe that this ancient point is very old. And I showed this. I'm going to show you again right now on this Google map, if I find it. Here it is. And this is the real thing. So let's just take a look at the orientation of, I'm sorry, I can't do Google Earth on this computer. It just crashes too much. Here's the eye, and it's really literally located just to the west of the corner of the Western Sahara. So if you see any maps that show the Western Sahara, you know where the eye is. It's right there. And you can go over almost directly over. If you start from the hook, and the hook of it's here, it's called La Guerra, but it's Capo Blanco in all the old maps, and it goes straight out, and you're kind of underneath the eye a little bit. So the hook is the lowest point of the eye. And when I say the eye, I'm talking about the concentric circles, and the Western Sahara border is the top part of it. So that's one way you can orient yourself. And as you can see, the Saret River Basin flew right past the north part of there. And probably this is the area where the canals are. I believe those canals created a link over to the south end. And I don't want to talk about the canals that we've found too much, but I do believe that those canals were connected. Why is that red? Look at that. Why is that doing that? Is my monitor not plugged in well? Can you see red there? Okay, the backflow from a giant wave. I actually demonstrated that over here, and I'm going to show you the map. There was, I'll show you right now since you brought it up. Thank you for that. Yeah, I understand from the Atlantic. I don't think you're talking about a wave from any other ocean except for the Atlantic. One thing I wanted to show you from this map, and I'm going to show you now, is this line. This is the mid-Atlantic trench. It's not a trench, it's a ridge. It's the mid-Atlantic ridge. Now, here's the thing. That shape matches the hook. That shape matches the Cape Verde point. I believe that, like a piece of pizza being slid across a box, that it moved all the way over. And of course, the closest landmass here slid this direction. So I believe that everything we see, we can see traces of the same shape. That means that this rock is really strong bedrock. And these scratches are basically pieces of under bedrock that scraped along the ocean floor very slowly as this, I believe, centrifugal force causes and slowly causes the plates to move wherever they're going. Maybe you could call it earthquakes. Maybe it's not just centrifugal force, but there's this pressure pushing. And that's why the continental areas are so fuzzy, because you're getting a lot of silt and dust. But over here, this is the ancient lines that were created. Look at that. You can see a line coming right directly from there. Now, am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not really a geologist. We can talk more about that later, but I'm going to go over to that picture that I promised to show you. And I think it's, I'm just going to go through the pictures. That is a comment. This is, who did that? I don't know who did that. This is the Ptolemy, and you can see the word here, Ptolemy. That was the Egyptian general that did the mapping. So he kind of was focused here, and he tried to get as much as possible. And you can kind of see this square look. When you see that square look, you kind of feel like it's related to Ptolemy maps. Convergence plates. I got to read these. There's been a lot of comments, and I'm really happy you guys stuck around. Messages retracted. Message retracted. Why are you retracting your own messages? If the Richat were never destroyed or sunken, what do it look like now? Well, I believe that it was flooded, but not from the ocean, not from, instead, we've got this picture here. Actually, I know where that is. It's not there. I got to go to another spot. Okay, so let me finish with this map really quick, because I never finished talking about it. I did talk about it, but the screen was black. That's the Senegal River right there. And it leads to a point where they come together in mountains. That is probably, when you see a straight line going across Africa, that is what it was. This is at the south end of the Sahara Desert, and it does meet the Nile. But when you come over here and look for hooks and stuff, you can't see. This is the Canary Islands here, but you can't see the Cape Verde Islands unless these are the Cape Verde Islands, which just doesn't make sense, because the Senegal complex is down by the corner. That's literally where Africa. We should go back to the real map, right? And we can see it right here. It kind of turns right there, but you certainly don't get a big old mouth. I don't believe for a second that there was a big mouth of ocean there, but not 600 years ago when that map was done. So thanks for all your comments. I'm really not able to keep up with them, and sometimes the device goes dark and I don't notice it. This is the top of the Senegal River here, and then this is actually, what am I talking about? So this is the Senegal River right there. I talked about there being an outlet down here, and I'm not so sure anymore what I'm talking about, because I don't see it. I guess that's part of it right here. This river, the Gambia. This is actually a country right here called Gambia, or the Gambia. It's just a small little area around that river. And then Senegal's there, and then you kind of see the Senegal River up here. And if you look at it like a picture, well, I'm not going to get into it, but dragons and like, especially the eye. Why is it showing hide? But we don't have a lot of area here between here and here. I believe there was a complex river going through from here down to here. And we did find a almost 20-kilometer mile long canal right there. Then you've got ancient riverbeds, and then we saw some other canals over here. Interesting stuff everywhere. So much to talk about. I don't think I'm going to show everything now. I want to just get into some of these ancient maps. So let me just click through here. And I was going to show one thing, though, and when I come across it, I'll bring it up, which was brought up about the tidal wave. I mean, can a tidal wave go in 1,000 miles? I don't think so. This is a super old map. This says EB 1911 map. And there was two versions of it. There was the actual map itself, and it's pretty ancient. You're not going to get much from this. I can't even see what this says. Okay, I'm going to turn the fan on right now. Let me know if the fan causes any sound distortion. Here it goes. I'm just going to put it on low, but if it all causes any problems or sounds, let me know. So that map's pretty old. We're not going to talk about that. There's another Ptolemy map. It's been squashed. That is the ancient. That's the ancient. What is? Sorry, Bright Insight did this. That's the flooding software. 14. Which map? That old map. The best thing I can tell you, this map. If Keenan J, if you're talking about this map, I don't really know. It says here, world map, Dalby, D, and that's a small d, which means of, and then Albi, so capital ALBI. It's an 800 pixel map, 800 pixel per inch map of Mappa Mundi, the world map. So this is like an ancient world map. Not really sure who did it. My suggestion is if you screen grab it and do a Google search, that's probably your best chance. Or look up the title, Mappa Mundi Dalby of Albi. And then there's two versions. There's this one here is a sketch of it. And it shows here Mauritania, Nomedia, and over here Ethiopia. And it shows just divisions of like countries. It's pretty raw, pretty sorry about that. I try to mute the microphone when I clear my throat, but that one caught me off guard. You can see here Hispania, and I guess that's England. This one is pretty famous. A lot of people know this map. This one doesn't have the name here, but I'll get it later. But you can definitely see a different story here. And this is the Canary Islands, and this is the Senegal Island. So this is Cape Verde. You see the mud bank, and you can see the rivers clearly going over. This is not the full map here. Let's take a look and see what we can find on this map. If we have any year, I don't think so. Well, this is a very famous map. A lot of people talk about this because of the depiction of this North America, South American coast, including parts of Antarctica. So there's a lot of questions about this map and where it came from. But what you see over here clearly is, this is very clear now, besides the elephant and the ostrich, which those types of animals don't exist in the Sahara anymore. But what you have here is the Tamansaret River going up to a mountain. And down here, just north of Dakar, this is part of the Senegal River. And so that was leading to what shows here as two lakes, all broken up. And now here you can see the bottom part is not wrong. You can see what we were looking at here. I forgot already. Guinea-Bissau and the Gambia, these rivers, and they're going into jungle. So this is still green. This is not the desert. So when you see these pictures here, you really have to ask yourself, when was this map done? Because it's showing North and South America. We're going to get the name. We're going to get the name of this map in a minute. I've got another version of it. I did learn a lot from New Earth. She did tell me about some of these maps. This is a Ptolemy related map. Ptolemy. I'm going to go through these maps pretty quick because I can already see that things are going to suck if I take too long. And this map, you can kind of see the same thing happening where you have a river going across the lower part of the Sierra. Sorry, what's the name of this desert? I always forget. And the rivers here kind of hooking over. You can see that's probably the one that we saw here, right? Guinea-Bissau River. I don't know the name of the river. It says here Bissau. Let's call it the Bissau River. And then there's the one in the Gambia as well. Those are two pretty strong rivers. We can always assume those are going to be here. But you don't really see any rivers coming out all around along here. Sahara Desert, very big, right? You got a lot of mountains. But when you go to this old map here, what you see is probably those two, and this is probably like where's the entrance to the Senegal? If there's no entrance, then where is this water coming from? It's very weird and probably wrong, right? That says Atlas Mountains right there. So you've got the Atlas Mountains going up there. Where are the mountains here? Here, the Garamantes, that's a tribe. So let's keep moving. This map, I don't even know what this is. This is Spain, and these are the Straits of Gibraltar. So this is Morocco. And this doesn't really show much. This is the Mediterranean Sea. So this is the Strait of Gibraltar. Strasse von Gibraltar. Okay, so that's 1861. Who knows? That's so late, I'm not going to even bother with that because this was a desert in 1861. This is the Spanish. It says Martello Arrigo un cartografo. That means map. 1492. That was procured. This map, Christopher Columbus. Did I write that? I think I copied that from something. Of course, I didn't write that. I don't speak what looks like Italian. Martello Arrigo. But this map is what Christopher Columbus used, and it looks like it has some relationship to the Ptolemy map. This is not a good one. I have another version of this map somewhere. This is a Ptolemy map. We've seen this, but it does have some other features. Wait, maybe I'm wrong. Let's take a look. Okay, this, not sure. I've seen this a lot, and I have other copies of this, but PSOHS, and the first S is capital. Somebody told me that they think that the map was torn. I don't really care about that. I only care about what we see here. We see a river going from mountains. That looks very similar to the Ptolemy, but it's not real serious at talking about rivers, so we don't care about this too much. It's obviously kind of a guess, right? And you don't see that connection. This one, of course, one of my favorites because it shows the words in what looks like Latin. Atlas Mountains flowing. Where was it? Oh, down here. The Nile from Atlante flowing. So the Nile flowing from Atlante. Now, this is Atlas Mountains with an S. This is Atlante. So I think this is based on the Herodotus map. But as you can see, there's that. Okay, now, by the way, I want to go back into what Nice was saying. I hope that you're still around. NAES, you brought up that there was a tidal wave coming from the Atlantic Ocean. I believe whatever this lake was just flooded. Here's the Atlas Mountains. So this is the Adrar Mountains right here. And it shows a lake right there, a source of water. Now, if you want to talk about, there's the entrance to the Senegal. So the Senegal River is here, but you've got this main river going through the Sahara Desert towards the Nile and getting pretty close to Egypt too. But then it also shows mountains going all the way across. So there's something wrong here. And also another thing that's wrong with this map is the fact that Spain and Africa are connected. Somebody mentioned that that was when the water levels were much lower. That makes sense. I do remember hearing that the Gibraltar, the pillars of Gibraltar were actually a land bridge at one time. It must have been. And I do recall hearing that water, it was broken and water rushed in and caused Santorini and other ancient civilizations in the Mediterranean Sea to sink or to get engulfed in water. We have a lot of different events happening. But this map, I don't know too much about it. It says Antiquissima Orbis Delineato, delineated Earth. Antique. Orbis means global, right? Mare Chronim. Okay, well, I don't even know what we're looking at over there. I don't even study that, so I'm going to keep moving. Oh, but we do have this. This is actually in the Library of Congress in 1905. And you have some notes down here. So that says G14XE5. You can go to alamy.com. This was like free so that you could pay for it to get a high-res version. We talk about that already? This is a map. It's Bausch, B-U-A-C-H-E. And it's, yeah, the Earth shifted axis. I believe that's true. I think that it could have been from an asteroid, or it could have been from something else. You know, I don't think that an asteroid is going to shift the Earth very much. It's just going to put a big old dent in it. But maybe it was time and it just helped, or maybe it did it by itself. What we're looking at here is there's the tip of South America and the tip of Africa. And what year was this done? This is a Bausch map. This guy somehow had some inside information. Sylvie from New Earth always talked about this guy's map, and you can see that Antarctica had, without ice on it, a big, huge gap here, now probably frozen. Oh, there was a new video I was going to watch on Antarctica. Here's a modern-day map of Africa. Now, this wasn't the one I wanted to show you. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Nace, but you were talking about the giant wave. Okay, I'm going to go down to the bottom. Oh, there you are. Hi, Nace. Welcome back, or thanks for staying with me. That lake, that ancient lake, was literally right here. And I'm going to show you that ancient lake, or where it could have been located with another topographical map. So I'll show you soon. But this little area here, actually, what's that dark green mean? It doesn't have a good scale. This, I forgot where I got this, but let's keep moving. This map of French Africa. So this is the colonization period, and I'm not really interested in that. And it doesn't show much. It shows the Adrar mountain plains. Maybe, kinda. That's about it. You can see Cap Blanco, so you know that the eye is right there. Senegal, the country and the river right there. But not much as far as details, so we're going to move on. I don't even know what year that was, but I assume it was the 1800s. It's not very high res. Wait, that's not bad. But not great either. Paris. Okay, you were just mentioning the axis getting kicked off. So if you think that the axis was kicked off, here are the ancient megalithic structures going around in a circle. This is not a flat Earth map, okay? This is just a different way to show the Earth. And that's the North Pole now. But as you can see, the North Pole would have been right here in Alaska. Actually, that dot right there is, what is that dot? You know what? I need to find out about that. Does that just mean the middle? Or does that mean there's some megalithic structure there that I don't know about? Okay, if you know there's a megalithic structure right there, let me know. I'd like to know right away, because I've never even noticed that, but I assume that's just the middle. And you can see that there's Egypt right there, so the pyramids, and of course Peru, Easter Island. I forgot what that is. And I've been to the apparently this is Angkor Wat. I've been there. I have a photograph of me being there. I'll get that picture up when it comes up. Now, this was just one more of these tombs in Taiwan, and it's kind of talking about the tumulus that I have been talking about in the other videos, and this just popped up. Here's a map of Mauritania. The city here is Ouaddain, and that's not the only city. The eye is right here, but you also have parts of Chingedi in the eye, and Tichit also pops up on the map. When I'm zooming around, all sorts of cities pop up. So Tichit kind of must go over here something. And you can see here, there's an ancient river line going there, and there's an ancient river right there. I mean, maybe there's even real water now. Maybe you even have flow. But where does that exit? It just kind of dries up before it hits the ocean. But you see this water deposits here that implies that it used to go to the ocean. But it filled up with sand and is no longer passable. Oh, yeah, and I do want to mention that when I talk about Atlantis, I think that the whole world, like that other map I just showed you, this is Atlantis, okay? When I say that, I mean it's the cultures that made megalithic structure. And by the way, that contradicts the whole Eye of Africa because you don't see a lot of megalithic structures here. What's Hyperborea? And I'm just glancing at all the comments. I'm sorry that I can't read them all. Okay, I'm going to move away from this map. I don't really care to go over stuff like this. I want to go over stuff like this. You can see some influence of the Ptolemy map, but look at the river complexes here. Now, what are we looking at? It says here, Ptolemy's world map 1482. Well, obviously, Ptolemy wasn't alive in 1482. So what I think it is it's another kind of a interpretation of his writing. And don't get tricked. These are mountains that you can see. Now, I noticed somebody said, that's crazy. This is crazy, right? Look at all those rivers. And come on, this is the area before the Pillars of Hercules that, what is this? I mean, these riverbeds, they must not have always been flowing. But maybe during Egypt times, yes. But look at that. Now let's go through what we see here. We see that's Cape Verde. So this must be here or here, Cape Verde. And then up here, we see some islands and probably the Canary Islands. That's Morocco. That's the Atlas Mountains. This is the Atlas Mountains. But look at this one. So, and I don't know about these lines here. If they equal, let's back out and take a quick look. If they equal, these are not the same lines of longitude that we are used to. So I would probably ignore those because if you're looking for the meridian, you're not going to find it. Okay, so let's zoom back in here and take a look at this. Now, this is intense, right? And by the way, this also kind of shows this old chunk sitting here. So if this is the chunk, if this is what was obviously none of these maps can really identify what happened to Atlantis, because I feel that Atlantis started 30,000, 40,000 years ago, maybe longer, and then 12,600 years ago endured its final cataclysm. And if you look at this here, you can see that we've got basically Cape Verde here. We've got a bunch of islands going here. There's the lake. Let's assume that this is the lake that flooded Ouaddain. I don't really know what to say about this. It's really, really busy. Yeah, it is intense. And you can see it goes straight across the Sahara. I mean, what if it's a big lie, And one thing here is that it still doesn't show the connection, because there was a hook and there was some connection over here. So maybe that's it right there, and it just connected to the Nile. But what I really think is that you've got I honestly don't know what to say. Now, this red line here is 23.5 degrees. That's the tropic of Cancer or Capricorn? Cancer, right? And then down here, this is the equator. So they were able to kind of speculate. So we know where the equator is. the equator is right here. This is Equatorial Guinea. So that whole gap probably is this right here. They're probably thinking if I go straight, it's straight. And maybe this gap represents that gap. It's not a big, huge mouth like that first map. So Equatorial Guinea is right there. And the Tropic of Cancer goes right here, a little bit below this line. It goes right there. So they're able to show the Tropic of Cancer 1,000 years ago in some maps. Some people knew better, some people didn't. So if we want to follow the Tropic of Cancer, we're leading like right there. It goes straight over to the eye. Maybe that's the eye, and it was full of water. I mean, it is intense. It really is. Moving on, let's just take a look at this. This is I want to see the title. It doesn't show a title. There, here it is. Can't read that. So they are talking about different wind gods and stuff. I want to move on. Let's get on to the next one. Okay, this is just showing different pyramids around the world, and I actually need to learn these. This says Pyramid of Khufu, but we know better, don't we? And I don't want to get into this right now, but a lot of these were not on the circle going around the world that I figured out. Okay, that was a thumbnail I was going to use. Old map. Okay, this one, it doesn't have a real name up here. Let's see how good this is. This is pretty clear, right? So what we're looking at, obviously, is Spain and the Pillars of Hercules here, and then kind of that same setup, right? A lot of rivers. These are mountains. And what you see very clearly is the Senegal River here, mud banks, the Atlas Mountains, the mud banks. So this is probably where the Adrar Mountains are. These mud banks have changed over the years, haven't they? And you can see quite clearly a connection going all the way here. There's the connecting point right there. And that's where the Nile goes together. So this map, what is this? I have another copy of this. Where's the name of this map? I forgot what we're looking at here. Your coordinates. Where are you, Elder God? Let's see if that's here. The name is here. There it is. Let's see. Now, see, this is a very bad copy. Actually, I think this is a better copy. But still, we don't have any names. So, yeah, that's high res, huh? What's that? Is that the concentric circles? No, I'm just kidding. And this is interesting here too. It's showing like a mountains that encompass something. But what I think we're looking at here is the Atlas Mountains and the Adrar Plateau here. And so having a river cut through and going north, that's the Taman-Seret River Basin right there. Okay, can't do this forever, so I'm just going to try to get through. Obviously, Carta de Barbarie de la Nigerite et de la Guinée, and of Guinea. So Guinea was right here, right? That river was the Gambia. There's Cape Verde. There's the Senegal River. Now look at that. This is so crazy, right? You basically have a river that's going straight up. They're calling this the Niger River or Niger. Look at that mud bank right there. Cap Blanco. Where's Cape Myrick? They don't show Cape Myrick, but I assume that this is Cape Myrick. And we still got to get in there and find Huadane right there, Huadane. And there's basically Huadane. So the eye would be like right here. What's that? Just little sketches of trees. This is just a city, the city of Huadane. Guadin is right there. So you've got this river going to the north of it, going right up. I think that this is where that ancient lake was. So that's where the possible flooding. You got to take a look at my video where you can see the sand striations stop when you get down here. What's this? Is that a lake? So this is part of the Senegal River. So between here and Huadane, right there, between here and here, there was sand striations moving this way, but they stopped. And down here, you don't have those same striations. Take a good look. Any water, it came from this direction. It went straight through. Okay, we're going to move on. I don't have, oh, there it is. So this is Guillaume del East, Northwest Africa, 1707. So in 1707, he's showing a river, and it's going right past, let's find this name of this city, Caragoli Village de Mares. Okay, let's move on because there's lots of stuff to show. Obviously, this one kind of, this must be new. Gutierrez, Americas, California. I don't think we're going to get much from that. Is that 1851? That actually shows a lot here. Look at that. That's clear, huh? So you can see the edge over here. There's the Tropic of Cancer. There's the equator. It shows many little tiny rivers, but it doesn't go deep. So this is not very useful. And I'll read you the name one more time if I can. This is a really clear copy, right? Oh, by the way, look at the Amazon River. And that's a big thing now. Now we know that the Amazon River also has a lot of ancient stuff here. We know that now that they're clearing the river, that we've got a lot of ancient stuff showing up. All right, 17 people watching. I'm really happy. I'll just keep going. Try to find the name of this map for you. Not doing very... It's a beautiful map. Look at that. That is awesome. Look at that. Just awesome. But I don't see the name of this map. Where's the name of the map? So 1497. Look at that. That is some fine craftsmanship. So about 600 years ago, but it's showing, I mean, it must be after Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So this must be like right after, but it shows ships, sorry, did I say ships? Ships sinking because it was hectic waters, and I guess we're going to be looking at California. What are we looking at here? Oh, that must be Baja California. That must be the Bay of California right there. So this is where my mom lives, right there. What does that say? Anyways, that doesn't have anything to do with our theory. Moving on, this map also kind of turned over. We can turn it like this, 90 degrees, and then you can see what was the pillars. This is Africa right here, and what you're seeing, this is pretty bizarre. They're kind of forcing it. That's the Nile right there. And then they show a big lake. Where's Senegal River? It doesn't really show the Senegal. Then it shows little islands. Boop, 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 boop. Well, I would think that maybe some of the... Okay, hi, Saber. I think that some of them are islands, but some of them are actually mud banks. I think this is unrealistic. I think what they're doing is they're just lining them up. And these must be the Canary Islands right here. And maybe later they find Cape Verde Islands. It's not a really good map. I mean, I guess if I could read it more clearly, maybe there's something. But in general, I don't think this is a great map. Not for what we're looking for. Look at all those islands inside the Mediterranean Sea. Let's take a look at the Gibraltar. What's going on here? The Pillars of Gibraltar has a big, huge thing in the middle. What's up with that? I don't have any idea. Moving on. Saving? Why is it saving? Oh, because I rotated it. Okay, so I'm saving. Let me go through this and see if I see any comments right now. I'm just going to scan them. Okay, next map. Now, what we have here is a nice topographical map of Africa. Not sure where it came from, but you can clearly see the eye. And so what you have is the Tamanrasset River going through here. You can see it right up here. There's another river that connects to it. It's full of sand now, but that's the river right there. And it used to have like a lake right there, according to theory. And you can see how it just cuts right down there, and it's kind of almost creates a symmetrical shape here that holds the Eye of the Sahara in. Here's the outlet for the Taman Reset, and what you have here is a bunch of sand that covers up the old river basin. Look at that. So here's the river following here, but then this sandbank just covers up all that. But I really believe that this is real bedrock that's ancient and came from the trench, the ridge, not the trench, sorry, the ridge. I think that this came from the ridge. I think this came from the ridge, and I think this came from the ridge. So these points are super hard pieces of bedrock. They're not going to move. But here, this looks like it filled up with sand. Now let me show you what I was talking about. You have the striations here, but you don't really have striations of sand down here moving across here. You have most of that happening here and here. So I don't really believe, I think that when they said that you can no longer, when Plato said you can no longer go to the concentric circles, he meant that the access way here was blocked off. And you see the flooding software where they kind of turn this whole thing into a big island, and the access would be over here on the east side of that island. If it's true that this was all submerged in water, then this would have been sticking out. This is one of the highest points right here. This ridge is one of the highest elevations in Africa, next to the Atlas Mountains. When I say in Africa, I mean in this northwest Africa. I haven't researched the rest. I don't know. But this altitude of this ridge is actually very similar to these white areas here. So I'm reading chats. Any questions, guys? Or if you want me to go back to certain maps and talk about them more, any questions? This is that map of Christopher Columbus time. And again, you can see a lot of so-called rivers going across the Atlas Mountains. Look, it says Capo Blanco right there. And then you've got a river going through there. And then you've got mud there. You've got the Canary Islands up there. You've got the Capo Verde pointing at Cape Verde there. So that's the Senegal River right there. So between Capo Blanco and the Senegal River, there's two rivers that go to a mountain and a so-called lake. What the heck is that all about? And that goes all the way across. Let's back out. And you can see how the Nile kind of reaches. This is kind of similar to that other map. And I said maybe it goes through here, but it's if there's a mountain ridge here and there's a mountain ridge there, then it's probably connected, and that's the meeting point right there.